on Daily Planet.
They don't need the power. This trio of action figures floated up to the stratosphere thanks to one amazing balloon ride. We'll meet the crew who sent them there.
Okay, now from some extreme toys in the seas to some extreme toys in the sky.
That's right, on this week's Flight Deck segment, you're about to meet someone who took a $2 styrofoam cooler, some helium, and some action figures to bring his dreams to the very edge of space.
It's a perfect day in Champaign, Illinois. Clear skies, not too windy, and filled with enthusiasm. The exact conditions needed to make one person's dream come true.
I'm a huge Star Trek fan. I've seen, over 500, almost 500 episodes, over 20,000 minutes of Star Trek, all the movies, everything.
Logan Kugler wants to do something special, a sort of science project to pay tribute to his heroes.
Picard and Kirk are the greatest starship captains to ever exist. The heroes of this incredibly inspiring fictional world, and they've never been to space in reality, so I thought it's about time that we send them there.
Sounds ambitious, but it's not the actual people going into space. It's their more petite versions. Even that isn't so easy.
This is going to be the most elaborate amateur high-altitude balloon mission ever in history, so it's very exciting.
To do that, he's recruited Spencer Gore, who launches balloons like this professionally.
This is by far the most complex, most intricate one that we've ever attempted. Whereas generally we can complete, a full payload construction in a couple of days, we've spent months and months perfecting this one.
The concept is simple. A helium balloon lifts the action figures up, a parachute cushions the fall back to Earth. But getting it just right is tough. The payload is held up by these black beams. It spreads the weight far away from the center to try to prevent it from spinning. But they all have to be balanced precisely, or the whole thing could topple over.
Early on, it's science. Everything is planned out, very procedural. We know exactly how this launch is going to happen, and at the end, all bets are off.
And the balloon itself is a marvel of technology. It has to be very light, but also super strong to stay intact as the atmosphere gets thinner. So it's made of latex. That can withstand atmospheric pressure, but it's delicate enough that it can be damaged by the oil from your skin.
The pressure up there is so much lower. It's about 1% of the pressure that you'd get down here. The balloon will have less force pushing in. It's going to expand and expand and expand. And when it gets to a certain point, it's just not going to be able to hold together anymore. Just like a party balloon, it's just going to burst.
But there's a problem. A leak in the equipment means they can't measure exactly how much helium is in the balloon, so they'll have to guess.
Okay, lock that sucker in there.
Too little helium and it won't be able to lift the payload. Too much and it'll stretch the balloon even more, causing it to pop at a low altitude. And now a park ranger has told them that this part of the park is off limits. They have to move.
We got to get this thing launched, or else, maybe the next cars showing up are going to be the police.
I need you guys to be done!
For safekeeping.
Finally, the payload is balanced, the balloon is filled, and it's ready for launch.
5,
4, 3, 2, 1,
Go!
blast off!
That's fast.
At these lower levels, the atmosphere is dense and the balloon travels quickly. They hope it'll go 35 kilometers up. Not nearly as high as the space station, but it's sort of space.
There's a big difference between what we call space and near space. Near space is an area where there's still a little bit of atmosphere. That's why we can, achieve things that are really, really close, but just not that extra notch. When you're at that altitude, you are above 99% of the atmosphere by mass.
The balloon goes higher than most birds fly, then higher than passenger jets, up into the stratosphere. With only clouds below, it keeps hurtling silently upwards toward the black void. Back on the ground, the most difficult part is just beginning. The team has to track the payload to its landing spot. It can easily blow more than 100 kilometers away, so they're using computers and a makeshift antenna to keep tabs on it. If there's a problem, it could be lost forever.
got to find systems that can communicate from the edge of space. They've got to be able to survive harsh, cold conditions, almost no atmosphere, no way to, no fans to cool them off. They've got to be able to transmit with high powers.
They're relying on three things. The first is just an ordinary cell phone with GPS. The second, a box that sends them messages via satellite. And finally, an old-fashioned radio transmitter that can go for long distances. At the same time, the balloon expands and expands until finally it hits its limits. About 30 kilometers high, mission accomplished. They've boldly gone where no action figures have gone before. But if it's never found, nobody back on planet Earth will ever know.
It should be somewhere over in that direction, and supposedly we can see it as a little dot in the sky. But we have not located visual contact of it yet.
It's over there. Yeah, if you could see it.
Touchdown! The whole gang has returned safely. Followed quickly by an ecstatic search team.
Feels awesome. Feels awesome. I mean, it's mission accomplished, right? So it's great.
Personally believe that the vision of Star Trek will someday be realized. The vision of we're going to be traveling in starships navigating the galaxy, and we're going to have teleporter capability, and we're going to have replicators, and this in the tiniest way possible, I guess you could say, is one step closer to that.
So what's incredible is I was talking to Dennis, who produced that piece for us, and that balloon took 2 hours to get all the way up there, and another 1 hour to parachute all the way back down with all the little figurines. Incredible,
That's amazing.
Right?
That's so far.
I know. But what's also weird is we've had Felix Baumgartner on the show.
You mean the skydiver guy?
Yeah, exactly. The base jumper guy, and he is going up 120,000 feet, or 36 clicks in the sky, and he's going to do the same thing. He's going to be the first human to jump that far up.
That's higher than the action figures.
It is higher than the action figures.
Wow, he'll be jumping higher than an action figure.